Hi there everybody, Dina here, and welcome to another What I Eat in a Day as a certified vegan nutrition coach and wellness advocate. Today I will be keeping things pretty simple with just some nutrient-dense, high raw foods, and they will be flavorful and delicious and filling. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you are not new here, welcome back. I appreciate the support so much. So this smoothie is pretty basic and pretty simple, but it is one of my favorite go-to smoothies. So you can see in the bottom of the blender, I have some cashew milk. You can use any kind of milk. I have about a cup of kale, a cup of blueberries, and some vanilla protein powder. This might sound pretty simple and basic, but let me tell you, it's one of my favorites for a reason. It's high in antioxidants and high in nutrients, and so delicious. And to my non-kale lovers out there, you will not even taste the kale. It's just like a sweet blueberry drink. So it is definitely one of my favorites. And you might notice the sun is up behind me. I'm getting a little bit of a later start to the day. Usually start before the sun comes up, but I have already gone for a walk with my favorite walking partner, Rocco, and we are back, and I've done a little bit of yoga, and it's time to get on with the rest of my busy day. So this is a great start. And while I sip on my smoothie, I'm going to get my next meal ready, which is this delicious salted caramel chia pudding. And I'm starting with just soaking a few dates, and I'm adding to a bowl my super seed mix, which is chia seeds, flaxseed, and hemp seed. And I'm adding to this a little bit, about a tablespoon of maca root powder for that caramelly flavor. And since I'll be working in the yard and also be running later and getting really sweaty, I'm adding a pack of caramel flavored electrolyte powder. To that, I'm just adding some cashew milk and my blended up dates, and I'm going to mix this all thoroughly, and I will set this aside and let it chill in the refrigerator until I get hungry this afternoon and feel like it's time to eat my next meal. So this will just go in the refrigerator and be ready when I am. And around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was getting pretty hungry, so it was time to take a break and have a late lunch. And this was so rich and satisfying and delicious. I just cannot describe. I will be having this on repeat this fall. And I just topped this salted caramel pudding with some almond butter, some banana, some shredded coconut, and a sprinkle of hemp seeds. And it was so good. I highly recommend checking this one out. And for a snack this afternoon or this evening and for the next couple of days, I decided to make some savory raw pumpkin and sage crackers, which turned out to be so delicious. So I just started by roughly chopping my pumpkin and peeling it before popping those chunks into the food processor to pulse them up a couple of times before I added my other ingredients, which are pretty basic and simple for raw crackers. You know, you got to have something with a little bit of moisture, and then your seasoning, and of course some flaxseed. So this was about a 1/4 cup of ground flax, a tablespoon of sage, and some fresh cracked pepper. And I just blended this all up until it was nice and smooth before spreading it onto 3 separate pieces of parchment paper, just to give it plenty of room to dehydrate in my small dehydrator. I don't have a fancy dehydrator, y'all. I just have a basic small round dehydrator, and it works great for me. So I'm just spreading it out into 3 rounds, about 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. It will dehydrate and thin out quite a bit. So I just topped this with some salt and some raw pumpkin seeds and popped these in the dehydrator for later. And this turned out to be just a great fall snack. And after I got back from my run on this evening, I had a really good run, about a 6-mile run or so. I was really hungry, so I decided to take advantage of some things that I had already meal prepped. And I had planned on having avocado on top of my grains and green bowl here, but sadly, this avocado was not in great shape. I think he spent a little bit too long in the refrigerator, so it was a no-go on him. So, disappointing for sure, but it was still delicious. So I have here in my bowl just some mixed greens. I have some mixed grains of buckwheat, quinoa, and brown rice, and I have some turmeric cauliflower that I had already meal prepped in the refrigerator. And I'm just adding here some pickled red onions with the spicy little pepper that I had in there to make my onions nice and spicy. And on top of my salad, I also have a few bell peppers and some spring onions. And this was just such a quick, delicious, and satisfying dinner. And along with that, I had a tahini dressing, just basic tahini sauce with a little balsamic vinegar. And I'm having a piece of my sourdough bread, which I have toasted, along with some cashew cream cheese, which I also had prepped for my crackers, which is just basically, this one has cashews, sunflower seeds, hemp seeds, and a little bit of vegan lactic acid. And this was a really delicious and hearty meal for my dinner this evening, and so satisfying after a long run. And later in the evening, I did enjoy some of my pumpkin seed crackers, which turned out so thin and crispy, so satisfying. I had these with a little bit of my cream cheese, and this was like the perfect end to a nice fall day. I enjoyed this day so much, so grateful to have another day to be here with my family and all of my friends, and I appreciate you guys watching so much. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to me. Also, comment below. Let me know what you think of today's meals. Like I said, this is not how I eat every day. This was just this given day. I try to include a variety of fruits, vegetables, and in-season things in my diet, and keeping it healthy, high in antioxidants, and high in nutrients. So if this is the way you like to eat too, join me and let's make a little community here. And I will see you in the next video.